right, so welcome to another edition of Talk the Ting with Kim inside Funtastic Friday here on News Talk 93 FM. I'm yours truly, Mr. Fresh Concept. You call me Lionel, you call me Fresh. Yeah, man, it's the same person. So we're going to jump into our topic for this evening. Yeah, welcome to all our Funtastic family. As we look on the topic for this week, sibling rivalry. What are the causes? What are the effects? And what are the solution? All right, so I want to let you know that during this segment, please be free to communicate, drop your feedback, let us hear your views, because we want to get this into a discussion segment. So don't be shy. Any questions you have, just drop them on the Instagram Live at Funtastic 93 FM. If you have any suggestion, any points you want to make, feel free to just jump in, drop your comments there, or on WhatsApp at 876-792-3530. All right, so let's look at it. At any point in your lives, right? Probably if you grew up by yourself, sometime, somewhere out there, you're going to have rivalry and within persons who are at your level, your peers. Now, whether you grew up in a house full of siblings or are raising children now who constantly compete, you know the struggle is real. But what causes sibling rivalry? What are its effects? And most importantly, how can we manage or prevent it? Stay tuned as we explore these questions. So what are we gonna do? All right, so to better understand what's happening right now, we're going to look at 6 key areas that we will call the causes for sibling rivalry. All right, Queen Pat says ready. I like that. All right, anybody else checked in? Let's go. So sibling rivalry, everybody understands what we're talking about here. We're talking about that rivalry, that competition between brother, sister, brother, sister. There's a level of competition. This one fighting again. Oh, you have so much toys. Oh, you get so much food. Oh, him get leg and me get bird. You know what I'm saying? All of these things. Somewhere along the line, there's going to be a rivalry to see who's getting more, who's getting less, who's not happy with what they're getting, how him get shoes, how me not getting the shoes. Like, I mean, if it's grades, him always I get A, me can't get no A or B, me I get. The competition is always gonna be there somewhere along the line. All right, and we're gonna look at what causes sibling rivalry. Now, one of the first things we identify that would have been the cause for sibling rivalry would be the need for competition. Well, the competition actually is a need for attention. All right, so that's the first case that we're looking at as a cause of sibling rivalry. It's like a competition for attention. So when children feel that one sibling is getting more love, more time, or resources from parents, jealousy can arise. So that's the part of sibling rivalry that causes the problem when we talk about jealousy. That is a big deal in families across Jamaica. This one always get special treatment. This one getting that. How come we never get that? That is an underlying issue, and I would say a cause for what we call sibling rivalry. Parents spending all their time with one child and the next child feels neglected. Yeah? Parents have that one they spoil, man. You get anything you ask for, but yet still you can't get anything. That stirs up jealousy among your children, or whether you are the child right now, it stirs up jealousy among siblings and cause or leads to sibling rivalry. The second point we want to look at as a cause for sibling rivalry is differences in personality. Now, what are we talking about? Now, 2 people are alike, right? No 2 people are alike. And when siblings have that contrasting temperaments or difference in their personalities, you're going to get what we call clashes. And those are inevitable. One might be soft-spoken, one might be very outgoing. So the soft-spoken one might feel that the outgoing one gets all the attention. If you have experienced any of this, just feel free to share your views, give us examples so we can drop it in our segment. If I'm talking facts, you can say, yes, that's true. If I'm talking, things that you don't agree with, you can say, wait, no, I don't agree with that. So feel free to share your views. But as I said, one of the first things that we want to look at when we talk about causes for sibling rivalry, one, that fight for attention, that competition for attention, right? Two, difference in personality. And three, this one now is very, we can't really do much about this other than probably educate them later in the game. But this one, we call the birth order dynamics. Yeah, the order in which they were born. So now the firstborns may feel pressure to set an example, while younger siblings might feel like they're overshadowed because the older ones probably doing more than they are doing at their younger age. Or sometimes the older ones see the younger one coming up and say, listen me, I never used to get them the good treatment there. And that might affect them as well. All right, so the birth order dynamics can also be a factor that leads to sibling rivalry. Now, when we're talking about the rivalry, we look at point number 4. This one is a big issue, I would say, across the board in most households. We're talking about parental comparison. Oh gosh, if you can't testify to this one, let me know. Parental comparison. When parents compare achievements or behaviors, children may feel the need to either withdraw themselves or they might battle to outdo each other. Look how your brother get this and that at school and you know get nothing. Oh gosh, that sometimes that breaks the child. Or as you say, sometimes they have that hidden competition going on. And they might probably lash out at their siblings. This causes sibling rivalry. So we got to be careful at how we are comparing the siblings, because parental comparisons is one of the issues that causes sibling rivalry. And it's a thing that sometimes if you don't realize or you don't pay attention, you might not realize that you're doing it. Because we love to compare. But we have to be careful how we're comparing our children or our siblings. Alright, so that's point number 4. Point number 5, resource sharing. How the resources are shared. So for example, limited access to toys, gadgets, or even parents' attention can create conflicts as well. So anytime you see parents are sharing out things for the children, if you know it's going to be shared unevenly, I would suggest, I'm jumping ahead of the gun, giving you guys some of the answers already. But you got to be careful of how you are sharing up the items. You might even understand why you're doing it that way, but you need to get it in the children's head why this is done. Because if they don't understand, that's where you're going to have some underlying sibling rivalry happening in the background. Because them see you get a one day tree more than you give them, you know. Them not understand why. Them have it up say you love that one day more, or that one day is more preferred, or they feel like they are the lesser, valued child, and that stirs up sibling rivalry. So be careful how the resources are shared. The resource sharing, how it's shared is an issue that can lead to sibling rivalry. Now, the point number 6, the final point that we're going to look up when we're looking at the causes of sibling rivalry, is perceived unfairness. That kind of stems from a part of the resource sharing. But let me go into more depths as we look at perceived unfairness. For example, if one sibling believes that the other or the rules or privileges are unevenly set across the board, that's going to lead to resentment. So for example, let me give you an example. We're talking about unfair treatment. Let me give you an example of what we're looking at here. So unfair treatment or perceived unfairness, because it might not necessarily be unfair intentionally, but once they see it as being unfair, they're saying, wait, how comes him not get the same kind of treatment I'm getting? That leads to resentment and also sibling rivalry. Now, when we look at perceived unfairness, an example, as I would say, is, let's say one child has a curfew of 7 p.m. and the next child, oh no man, you can't stay and watch TV. You look around, you got your bed. you have to find out why there's a difference. You can't just do that kind of treatment and don't think the children are gonna be wondering what's happening there if a special treatment wanna get. You got to look at those things. How come that one have friends over and I can't have friends over? Unfair treatment, I tell you. Yeah. Very, very tricky, people. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. All right. Let's see here. Queen Pat says, love one man child and not the other. Bam! Sibling rivalry right there, especially when they're all under the same roof. Oh gosh, man. If there's a difference in how you're treating the children, sibling rivalry. If they're in different household and they're able to communicate or see how the other one is living, sibling rivalry as well. So Queen Pat says, yes, it's true. Queen Pat says sharing supposed to be equal. And as I said, one of the tips I'm going to give you later on, I'm giving you now. If it's not going to be shared equal for some particular reason, try your best to communicate that to the children so they understand. Don't just expect them to understand. Come here, I tell you, I've been dealing with adults right now sometimes, and when you tell them one thing, they will assume other things. So you can just imagine children who are not as mature. You know, if you tell them one thing and they don't understand it fully, they're gonna cook up all different ideas in their heads, which might, as I said, lead to resentment and also sibling rivalry. All right, so those are the 6 points we want to look at. Let me see. Queen Pat says there's a difference because one is unruly, so you have to cut its time. Yes, that might be it. So you have to explain these things, why some people get certain treatment, so they can understand and know how to access it. But we're going to look at that soon. So we're going to run over those 6 causes, the 6 main causes of sibling rivalry. We looked at 1, that fight for attention or competition for attention, competing for attention. That's point number 1 when we're talking about the causes of sibling rivalry. Point number 2, difference in personalities. One might be, you know, withdrawn, one might be outgoing, and the outgoing one seems to get all the spotlight, and you know, the quiet one has all these thoughts that, okay, they love them more. Yeah. 3, birth order dynamics, the order in which they were born. Sometimes the younger one thinks that the bigger one gets all the fun and all this and all the good treatment first. Them have to get the shoes first before me get the shoes. All of that. Or sometimes the older one feels that the younger one, or him come after me, but he might get all of the nice treatment. He might get spoiled. I never get that kind of treatment when I was younger. These are some of the causes of sibling rivalry. Point number 4, parental comparison. Careful how you are comparing the children. Look how this one when I get A+ and you can't get no B, a B, a C, D, E, I get. And then you feel like the child feels like the parent isn't as loving to them as the other. 5, we're looking at is resource sharing. You got to be careful how the resources are shared. If the children are there seeing the difference in the sharing of the items, this one I get 7, me get 2. Every time things are going, this one I get more than me. I mean, why? How come? That leads to resentment. So unless it's clearly explained, can lead to resentment and conflicts. And 6, point number 6. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Point number 6, we look at perceived unfairness. That's when the child feel that one person is getting a lot of benefits, a lot of what you call that now, access to other things that they don't have access to. How come this one had the 3 different sports and me can't do my little after school activity? How come this one gets to have friends over, I can't have friends over? These are 6 main causes for sibling rivalry. All right, people, we're gonna jump to the let me check on the Instagram live just to get some comments on the WhatsApp line 876-792-3530. All right, let's see here. Well, yeah. As Queen Pat was saying, there's a difference because one is unruly, so you have to cut the time for that one. Yeah, I mean, the kids need to understand why things are done the way they are done, so that way they have a full understanding of what is happening. So you prevent all the problems of sibling rivalry. All right, now let's move on in our discussion segment. Uh, we are going to look at the effects of sibling rivalry. Now, while some level of rivalry is normal, because you can't get rid of rivalry when it comes to children and adults even as well. There's going to be a battle, but guess what? You have competition that's good and you have competition that can be toxic. All right? So while some level of rivalry is normal and even healthy, extreme cases can have negative consequences, and we're going to look at these consequences right now. Now, there are 7 main consequences that take place or effects of sibling rivalry. One of the biggest ones that is very obvious right off the bat is low self-esteem. Constant comparison can make one child feel inadequate over the other. So you got to be careful. As I said, you got to be careful how you are comparing your kids, how you are comparing your siblings, because constant comparison can lead to one or more of the children feeling inadequate. They are not enough. They can't keep up with this one. So it's like they're left behind, or they're what left, or less loved. So careful. That's one of the effects of unhealthy sibling rivalry. Now, point number 2, we're looking at increased anxiety and stress. So frequent conflicts can create a tense home environment. So poor social skills. Siblings who are always in conflict may struggle to form a positive relationship outside the home. All right, so point number 2, we're looking at increased anxiety and stress. So all these conflicts can create a tense home environment. If the children are not feeling comfortable at home, because they know what's going on, this one they're going to outshine this one, yeah, that's going to lead to increased anxiety and stress. Imagine a child not feeling comfortable in their own home. Yeah, in their own home. Now, third, poor social skills. Now, siblings who are always in conflicts may struggle to form positive relationships outside of the home. So I understand that, okay, you think it's just going to be something at home, the sibling rivalry stops here. No, it can also affect their social life. Because one feels like they're being put down at home, so they're not going to be outgoing at school. They're just quiet. They're locked in a shell. Or they might take it out on persons out there, so it affects their social life. Now, the fourth effect number 4, when we're talking about what can happen when there's unhealthy sibling rivalry, is lasting adult resentment. I'm telling you, this one is a very tricky one, because unresolved childhood rivalry can strain sibling relationships well into adulthood. Right now, that's why you have 40-year-old and 35-year-old brother and sister fight and I go back and forth. Big people, you know? They have up each other from younger days, from when, oh, this is when I used to, this is when I'm mommy favorite, this is when I'm daddy favorite. And they have up that resentment from picnic days, as you call it. Now they are big adults, and it's, you know, when the adults are battling, it's a bit worse than kids, because it can even lead to physical activities, right? So unresolved childhood rivalry can strain sibling relationships well into adulthood. This is when a cousin, sister not talk to that sister there. This a brother here, black, this a sister here. All sorts of things can take place, all because of sibling rivalry. All right? So we look at consequence number 5 as a result of sibling rivalry or unhealthy sibling rivalry. Aggressive behavior. As I said in the previous point, it can lead to physical activity. Also, it leads to aggressive behavior. So continuous conflicts can lead to a verbal or even physical aggression between siblings. And I think this is one of the causes of so many incidents, domestic incidents at homes in Jamaica. Brother stab up brother, sister stab up sister. Listen to me, you think that today they have them up from? Today the person can just brush them and he stab them gone for them. Because them a carry things from back in the days, from them a pit until now. That resentment is there still. So any little issue that comes up now brings out aggressive behavior. Especially uncalled for aggressive behavior. So unhealthy sibling rivalry is something that we gotta keep a check on, as it causes these effects that we're listing here. Effect number 6. Parental stress and strained family relationships is a consequence of unhealthy sibling rivalry. Now, ongoing sibling rivalry and disputes can lead to parental frustration and strained family dynamics. So as I mentioned earlier, when you hear say this side of the family, not talk to that side of the family, listen to me. It sounds simple now, but trust me, these are big issues. If you ever find out or notice how this affects families going forward, because guess what? Imagine if a brother not talking to his brother, and we're talking about big malice and all of that. Guess what am I gonna do next? They're telling it to the child. Hello, I don't want you to go over Mass John, yeah. Even though I'm brother, you know, I don't want you to go over there. I don't want you to talk to the son them. I don't want you to mix. And all of a sudden you have the families are split apart. And that results in strained family relationship. It was a family reunion, this side over here, so that side over there, so we don't like them don't like them. One, as I said, it might seem simple enough, but these things are very big. And they mash up and they affect the homes that we live in. And you wonder why you can't see that side of your family, or why this don't. Sibling rivalry. If you check it out and realize some of these things, it boils down to sibling rivalry. And as Chevelle says, bad mind. Yeah. Where? Oh my gosh. Why does they have a little sibling rivalry and one feels like the other is preferred over the other one? Make that one you go buy a car. Eh? Oh. So mommy help them buy a car and daddy help them. So what about me? Me and bad mind and all these things, grudgeful, jealousy, all of the negative and toxic attributes start to pop up during this time. It's very crazy situation. And number 7, the final effects that we're looking at when it comes to unhealthy sibling rivalry is negative academic and career impacts. So yes, people, this can also affect your academic behavior and also your career path. Now, a persistent rivalry and stress at home can negatively affect how you are able to focus. It can affect your academic performance and even your career development. Right now, you have some people, just because of sibling rivalry, they end up on roadside and have feelings and carry feelings and a huff and puff, rather than proceeding to continue with their life and advance themselves. Yeah. Negative academic and career impact. It's affecting them negatively. They're probably getting a job over here, so or the family member say, listen me, you can't go work over this. Marcus workplace. No, me not gonna. So sibling rivalry. Me and him not talk. Me and her not talk. Me not want nothing from them. So what in life? You can't get anywhere. You can't excel because of sibling rivalry. You're stuck in the same place. So people, we looked at 6 causes of sibling rivalry. We also looked at 7 consequences of sibling rivalry, or 7 effects of sibling rivalry. We're going to go to the break. When we return, we take a look at the solutions. We find out what can we do to minimize or avoid unhealthy sibling rivalry. You're locked into Fantastic Fridays here on News Talk 93 FM. We'll be right back.
From the start, so leave it to time.
News Talk 93 FM. Heard everywhere.